Hi there. When you look upon me now as a frumpy father, you probably find it a little bit unbelievable that I was able to cycle around the world, but that's what I managed to do. You're going to get a bit of a serious conversation amongst your biking porn of traveling around the world. We all know someone, either ourselves or family members, someone is dealing with a mental health challenge. 1 in 5 Canadians. So to put that in perspective, that's about 400,000 Vancouverites. It's about 7 million Canadians nationally. And as a teacher and a reporter, prior to the ride, I was also working for Vancouver 24 Hours. It kind of dawned on me that the stories that are being told are very negative. And this is what is causing, these 7 million Canadians to hide. So you have the Hollywoodization of mental illness. I love being scared, but Alfred Hitchcock nailed it back about 50 years ago or 40 years ago with Psycho. And ever since then, in particular males that are dealing with a mental health challenge, you're dangerous and you're usually sporting a Henkel, a long kitchen knife, at least 10 inches long. And then working for a newspaper, I'm embarrassed to say if it bleeds, it leads. The only time that a person with a mental health challenge makes a newspaper, if there's some sort of horrific event, which is a statistical outlier. And then as our social democracy deteriorates, you see the mentally ill living on the downtown east side, eating out of a dumpster. So the story is very negative, but obviously 7 million Canadians cannot be living like that, otherwise we would cease to exist as a nation. And so these very visible portrayals are causing the functioning people that are dealing with a mental health challenge, a little bit of anxiety, depression, whatever, the taxi drivers, the doctors, the lawyers, the teachers, to stay silent because they don't want to be associated with a negative portrayal. And this was the impetus behind Ride Don't Hide, that the people have to come out and make themselves visible. They have to find the courage to make themselves visible, otherwise the negative portrayals continue to tell the story and the stigma never leaves. One could make an argument that not only are the drivers of our culture, our canon, the Western canon, are managing to do so with, besides having a mental illness, but I'd even argue that the list is so long, and it's becoming longer and longer as things come forward, that perhaps being an outlier on the normative curve, it's stressful. And those sensitivities that have made you unique on that outlying position also make you more prone to dealing with a mental health challenge. But there's a list, and it's certainly not a definitive list, but everything from scientists to artists, when you delve a little deeper, quite sometimes anyways, deal with a mental health challenge. And I don't want to make the argument, don't get me wrong, that you have to have a mental health challenge in order to be extraordinary in your field. I'm just saying it's, if it was as debilitating as it's portrayed, you wouldn't have this list. So staying healthy, how do I stay healthy? Well, you've got support groups, family, friends, exercise, I think that's the best medicine, biking in particular, right? Medication if you need it. But these last two, and that's what Ride Don't Hide is about, a shift in self-perception which is provided through a societal shift, right? If people start looking at mental health challenges in a different light, it's a little easier on a person that's dealing with a mental health challenge to look at themselves in a different light. Being a bipolar person, the last time, thankfully, knock on wood, that I dealt with a manic episode was when I was 25 and at UBC. And far harder than the manic episode itself was the stigma. And I'm telling you that if that stigma starts to erode, which it is, it's just that much easier for people that are dealing with a mental health challenge to be productive members of society. So again, it's about the storytelling and who controls the message, and Ride Don't Hide made its effort to, and is making an effort to control the story. So this is the trip. 40,000 kilometers is the equatorial distance around the world. I went down the western seaboard of North America, Central America, all the way down to Lima. From Lima, I cut it through the Andes, left the Americas from Buenos Aires, landed in Sydney, cycled up the eastern seaboard of Australia to Cairns. Cairns flew to Singapore, Singapore through Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. From Hanoi, I couldn't get into China. It was too difficult, and I was wasting time dealing with paperwork and visas. So I flew to Hong Kong, then cycled from Hong Kong to Shanghai. Shanghai, I flew to Finland. I'll stop here for a second. 40,000 kilometers is the straight as an arrow. As you're cycling, as you know, you're doing a lot of this. And I was actually running out of kilometers. I got a lead from the Vancouver School Board that I was literally running out of kilometers and time. Flew to Finland, down the coast, blah, 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 Morocco, over to Halifax, and across Canada, and finished up in Rogers Arena. Ride Don't Hide was very grassroots at the beginning. My wife Deborah there, the older woman with the gray hair. I like older ladies. No, that's my mother. Deborah's there in the black hair, and Deborah literally ran it off the corner of her desk while working full time at Langara. There's my mom, who you got to have your mom's blessing when you get on a bike and say you're going to cycle around the world, especially when your father's died in a bicycle accident. She was scared. She was really scared. Chris and Margot, dear friends of mine that were inspirational, that made it happen. That's the first day. I remember it like it is, all colorful, bright lights. The bike is clean. Norco donated a bike. I've got to hurry up here. I have 3 minutes. Usually I take an hour and a half for a presentation. Can't tell you about this story. Sorry, running out of time. This is the old website. People started coming forward. You could come forward with your picture and your name, or you could be anonymous. And you talk about heartbreaking. You know, people would come forward with their picture, and then I would be in some country, and I'd wake up in the morning, and someone would say, "Please take down my post, take down my picture, take down my name." My social circles, my professional circles don't know about my mental health challenges, and I'd switch it up to a logo. Another story. That this is the. That sucks. You don't want to be heading south through Peru. The winds come off the ocean in a different direction. I'm eating sand, literally, and then I said, heck with this, the Andes have got. Well, you guys know, you're cyclists. There's nothing worse than the wind in your face, right? Yeah. Nothing worse. The friendliest people were in the poorest countries. The dangerous, most rude people, guess which country? That's a crazy story. I'm so lucky to be here. Crossing Canada, I got car support. Ride Don't Hide had grown into something larger, and they were able to fund a car and all the gear. With the bike weighed about 105 pounds. Suddenly I'm riding a bike that weighs about 18 pounds. I literally felt bionic. I've been riding 105 pounds for a year. That's the last day coming to Rogers Arena. So more importantly, Ride Don't Hide has become an annual event. That first annual ride was 2012. We had 2 cities, 586 riders. Last June, we had just shy of 8,000 riders in 7 provinces, 31 communities, and I think we'll have more this June. You just gotta go to ridedon'thide.com. These are everyday riders. This is the 100-kilometer group coming out of Swangard. You get a police escort, like something out of House of Cards, except you're not a, sexual predator. And you get an escort. You get an escort, like whipping through the lights. They shut down the lights for you, and you come back into Swangard. That's the 100K group. Then there's a 60K, a 20K, and there's a kid group. It's a big party, music, free food, white spot. Thank you very much for your time.